right, everybody, welcome back to the show. Today, we are diving into the world of AI
Oh, yeah.
and specifically what it means for the future of work.
Absolutely.
So we are going deep on this IMF staff discussion note from January 2024 called Gen AI, Artificial Intelligence and the Future of Work.
Right. And it really kind of digs into how AI could, reshape the job market.
As we know it.
Yeah.
And I think some of the findings are pretty thought-provoking, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Some really, really interesting stuff.
Like one of the things that jumped out at me was they said 40%
Wow.
of global employment is exposed to AI.
That's a big number.
That's a huge chunk of the workforce.
Yeah, it is a big number. And it's not evenly distributed.
Okay.
Yeah. Advanced economies like the US and UK are actually at higher risk,
Interesting.
with around 60% of their jobs exposed to AI's influence.
Okay, so before everyone starts panicking, exposed doesn't automatically mean replaced, right?
That's a really good point. I'm
Yeah.
glad you brought that up. That's exactly right.
Okay.
It simply means AI could significantly change how tasks are done in those jobs.
I see.
Kind of think about how online banking transformed the role of bank tellers.
Right.
Fewer transactions and more focus on financial advice.
Oh, okay.
So AI is doing something similar, but on a much grander scale.
So it's not like robots are going to take over our jobs tomorrow.
Not necessarily.
It's more of the spectrum
Yeah.
of how things could change.
Exactly. The report really distinguishes between AI complementing workers,
Okay.
essentially acting as a super tool to boost productivity,
Okay.
versus AI displacing workers, meaning those jobs become obsolete.
Gotcha.
And they even created an index to measure this,
Oh, wow.
taking into account not only AI capabilities, but also social and economic factors.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So give us an example, like
Sure.
which jobs are most likely to, be complemented versus displaced?
Let's look at judges.
Okay.
They're highly exposed to AI due to advances in legal tech.
Because they can process information and stuff.
Exactly. They can analyze all the case law, all the precedents and all that.
Yeah.
But their risk of displacement is low.
Really? Why is that?
Because society places immense value on human judgment in legal matters.
Oh, that's true.
So AI might analyze evidence faster,
Right.
but it's unlikely to replace the human element in the courtroom anytime soon.
Makes sense.
There you go.
So it's like
Yeah.
AI is like a powerful sidekick for judges.
Yeah, like a really smart research assistant.
Exactly. Not a replacement.
Right.
What about a job on the opposite end of the spectrum?
Telemarketing.
Okay.
Also highly exposed to AI, but with much lower shielding, meaning the likelihood of displacement is far greater.
Gotcha.
AI-powered chatbots are already handling customer service calls and sales pitches,
Right.
making human telemarketers increasingly redundant.
Wow. Okay. That's a pretty stark contrast.
It is.
So if we take this idea and kind of zoom out to the macro level,
Right.
what are the broader implications for the workforce as a whole?
That's a great question, and that's where the concept of worker reallocation comes in.
Okay.
As AI changes the landscape, we need to understand how easily people can transition between jobs.
Right.
And how different groups are affected.
Because if
Right.
my skills become obsolete,
Exactly.
I need to go do something else.
Right. You need somewhere to go.
What does the report say about this?
Well, the IMF looked at historical patterns in the UK and Brazil
Okay.
and found some interesting trends.
Like what?
In the UK, for example, college-educated workers tend to be more mobile.
Meaning.
They shift into AI complementary roles more readily.
Gotcha. So they can kind of roll with the punches a little bit better.
Yeah, they've got that flexibility.
Yeah.
Non-college educated workers, however, show less mobility.
So they might be potentially increasing their vulnerability.
Interesting. Okay, so education plays a role.
It does.
What about age?
It does too.
Does that factor into adaptability?
The report found that older workers, regardless of their education.
Face greater difficulty re-entering the workforce after job loss.
No, why is that?
This could be due to skills gaps, biases in hiring,
Oh, yeah.
or simply the challenge of adapting to a rapidly changing work environment later in one's career.
Yeah, you're kind of set in your ways, maybe?
It's harder to change.
Yeah, that's a tough reality.
It is.
It seems like AI could really shake things up,
Yeah.
not just in terms of specific jobs, but like for entire demographics.
Absolutely.
What about the economic implications of all of this?
That's another good question.
Like, will AI
Yeah.
just boost productivity across the board,
Right.
leading to, rising tides lift all boats?
Right.
Or will it exacerbate existing inequalities?
That's a huge that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Will AI make the rich richer and the poor poorer?
Right, exactly. What does the IMF report suggest?
Well, their analysis using the UK as a model shows that the impact on labor income is complex.
Okay.
And it depends on the interplay between AI's complementarity and displacement effects.
So in plain English, what does that mean?
Right. So in plain English,
For the average worker.
if AI primarily displaces workers, even those in high-paying jobs,
Okay.
it could actually lead to a decrease in income inequality in the short term.
Really?
High earners might lose a chunk of their income due to job losses,
Oh, I see.
while lower earners who are less exposed to AI initially experience fewer disruptions.
So it's kind of like
Yeah,
a leveling of the playing field, at least temporarily?
potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's probably not that simple.
Yeah, I was going to say there's got to be more to it.
There is than that.
Yeah.
The IMF model also explores what happens if AI is highly complementary to the skills of higher earners.
So they can use it even better.
Right. They become even more productive
Uh-huh.
and consequently wealthier.
Oh, so it could actually
In that scenario, income inequality likely increases.
make the problem worse.
Potentially.
So AI is this potential accelerator
Yeah.
for the rich getting richer.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Oh, man.
But there's another layer to this onion.
Oh, boy.
Even if wages for many workers rise due to AI-driven productivity,
Okay.
the gains in capital income money earned from investments and assets
Right.
are likely to disproportionately benefit the wealthy, further widening the wealth gap.
So even if your salary goes up,
Yeah.
people who own assets
Right.
are going to benefit even more.
Which are generally wealthier people to begin with.
Right. So that gap could actually widen.
That's a possibility for sure.
Man, that's a sobering thought.
It is a lot to think about.
It seems like navigating this AI-powered future requires more than just like adapting to new technologies. It's about understanding the economic
Absolutely.
and social forces at play.
It's a complex issue for sure.
So given all this, what can countries do to prepare for this
That's the big question.
AI revolution?
Right, and the IMF highlights the importance of AI preparedness.
Okay.
They actually have an index to rank countries based on their ability to harness AI's potential while mitigating its risks.
So like a global
Yeah.
AI report card.
Kinda, yeah.
Okay, tell us more about this index. Like,
Sure.
what factors determine a country's grade?
Well, it breaks down into 4 key dimensions.
Maybe with them.
Okay, first is digital infrastructure.
Yeah.
The foundation for AI to even function.
Right. You need the computers.
We're talking internet access, broadband speed, the availability of cloud computing.
Right. You need the plumbing.
All those digital pipes that make the AI magic happen.
Gotcha. You can't have an AI revolution without the digital plumbing to support it.
Exactly.
Okay, what's next?
Next is innovation and economic integration.
Okay.
Basically, a country's ability to foster a dynamic, innovative environment where AI can flourish.
So, like, are they investing in research and development? Are they?
This includes things like R&D spending the strength of their tech sector
Gotcha.
and how open they are to trade and foreign investment.
Makes sense. You need an ecosystem that supports
Exactly.
AI development and adoption.
You got it.
What else?
Then we have human capital.
Okay.
This dimension focuses on education levels, digital skills, and the availability of training programs that help workers adapt to new technologies.
Right.
Because even with all the fancy tech in the world,
Yeah.
it's useless if people don't know how to use it.
Right. It's about having a workforce that's prepared,
Exactly.
work alongside,
Right.
and leverage AI, not just be replaced by it.
You got it.
Okay.
And finally, we have regulation and ethics.
Oh, that's an important one.
It is.
Okay.
This looks at the legal frameworks and policies in place to govern AI development and use. It's about ensuring ethical considerations are taken into account.
Right.
And minimizing those dystopian AI scenarios we often see in sci-fi movies.
We don't want to live in a world ruled by rogue algorithms.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. We don't want the Terminator running around.
No.
So the IMF uses this index to gauge how prepared different countries are for the AI revolution.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And let me guess, the results are pretty much what you'd expect.
Pretty much.
Advanced economies are scoring high. Developing countries are playing catch-up.
You nailed it.
Okay, so does that mean
Yeah.
developing countries are just destined to be left behind in the AI race?
Not necessarily. The report emphasizes that different countries need to focus on different priorities based on their stage of development.
Gotcha.
Advanced economies should continue fostering innovation, but also strengthen those ethical and regulatory frameworks to ensure responsible and inclusive AI development.
Gotcha. So it's not just about building the technology, it's about building it responsibly.
Exactly.
Okay.
Developing countries, on the other hand, should prioritize investments in digital infrastructure, education, and digital skills training.
So making sure the foundation is there.
Exactly.
This is all incredibly insightful, but let's get down to brass tacks.
Sure.
Like, what can someone listening to this right now do to stay ahead of the curve in this AI-powered future?
That's a great question, and luckily the IMF report offers some concrete advice.
Okay, give it to us straight.
Okay.
What's the secret sauce for thriving in the age of AI?
Well, firstly, embrace lifelong learning.
Okay.
AI is constantly evolving, so continuously learning new things and updating your skills is crucial.
So never stop learning.
Never stop learning.
Okay, what else?
Focus on developing those uniquely human skills that AI can't easily replicate.
Like what?
Things like critical thinking, creativity, complex problem-solving, emotional intelligence, and those all important interpersonal skills.
So basically become a well-rounded, adaptable, and emotionally intelligent human.
That's the dream, right?
Right.
Yeah, in essence, yes.
And finally,
really.
What's the last piece of advice?
Become an advocate for responsible AI development and policies that support workers through this transition.
Okay, so don't just sit back and let the AI wave wash over you.
Exactly.
Get involved and help shape the future you want to see.
I love that.
This has been a phenomenal deep dive.
It has.
But I feel like we've only scratched the surface.
Yeah, there's a lot more to unpack here.
Yeah. For those who want to go deeper, we'll have a link to the full IMF report in the show notes.
Absolutely.
It's dense.
It is.
But definitely worth a read.
It's a good one.
And speaking of things to ponder.
Yes.
There's one big question that's been lingering in my mind since we started this discussion.
Okay, let's hear it.
And I think it's a question that you, the listener, should be pondering as well.
Ooh, I like this.
And it's about the long-term implications of AI on career paths.
All right.
And whether our traditional notions of a career might need a total rethink.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a juicy one.
I like it.
We'll dive into that in the next part of the show.
Can't wait.
Stay tuned.
All right. Welcome back. So before the break, we were talking about how individuals can best prepare for an AI-driven work world.
Right, and you teased this idea that traditional careers might need like a total rethink.
Exactly.
What did you mean by that?
Well, you know, for generations, the career model was pretty linear, right? You know, education, entry-level job, climb the ladder, maybe switch companies, but you kind of stay within a field.
Right, you specialize.
But AI kind of throws a wrench in that whole paradigm.
Because the skills that are needed are changing so rapidly.
That's a big part of it, yeah.
Okay.
The IMF report even mentions how younger workers, especially those with college degrees, are already job hopping more than previous generations.
Which some people might see as a lack of commitment.
Right.
But you're suggesting it's actually an adaptive strategy in an AI context.
Yeah, I think it's less about climbing a predetermined ladder and more about navigating like a dynamic landscape. Think of it like rock climbing. You need diverse skills. You adjust your route based on the terrain.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
So in this AI-driven world, how do we even define career success?
Yeah.
Is it even about reaching a specific job title anymore?
That's where things get really interesting. And the IMF report doesn't give explicit answers.
Oh, really?
Which I think is telling. You know, it suggests that we're kind of collectively figuring this out in real time.
So if it's not about reaching the corner office, what should professionals be aiming for? Like, what does winning even look like in this new world of work?
I think it comes down to a few key things. First, becoming incredibly good at learning how to learn. It's not just about mastering specific skills, but the meta skill of rapidly picking up new ones as needed. Because the only constant is change, especially with AI advancing so quickly.
The goalposts are constantly moving.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Okay, so
that's number one.
Never stop learning.
Right.
What's number two?
Second, cultivating those uniquely human skills we keep talking about. Creativity, judgment, emotional intelligence. These become your unique value proposition in a world where AI can automate routine tasks.
So you're not competing against AI, you're leveraging it.
Right.
But also emphasizing what makes you distinctly human.
Precisely. And third, building a resilient and adaptable mindset.
Okay.
The IMF report touches on the psychological toll of job displacement.
Right.
Especially for older workers.
Yeah, like feeling like your skills are suddenly obsolete.
Exactly, and that can be really tough.
Yeah.
So that resilience is really important.
So how do you build that resilience?
That's a good question.
What advice would you give to someone who's like, I'm listening to this and now I'm freaking out.
Right.
I'm feeling anxious about my future.
Sure.
In this AI-powered world, what do I do?
Well, I think it's about viewing change not as a threat, but as an opportunity.
Okay.
It's about being curious, being willing to experiment, and being open to new possibilities.
Yeah, try new things.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also about having a strong support network.
Okay.
And seeking out resources like training programs and mentorship opportunities.
So it sounds like this shift requires kind of a mental reframing.
Absolutely.
As much as it does upskilling.
Yeah, it's not just about what, it's about how you approach learning and adapting.
It's about your attitude.
Exactly. And this has huge implications for education and policy as well.
Oh, interesting. Okay. How so?
Well, we can't just keep churning out graduates prepared for jobs that might not exist in a few years.
Right. So what needs to change in terms of how we educate and train the workforce for this new reality?
The IMF report emphasizes that countries need to invest heavily in what they call human capital.
Okay.
And not just technical skills, but things like critical thinking, adaptability, and collaboration.
So it's about nurturing those uniquely human capabilities that AI can't replicate.
Right. And crucially, ensuring that access to these resources isn't limited to the elite or those already tech savvy.
Okay.
This is about societal level preparedness.
Gotcha.
We need to be equipping everyone with the tools and mindset to thrive in this new world.
Otherwise, those inequality gaps we discussed.
Exactly.
They're going to keep widening.
Yeah, and there's another dimension the IMF touches on that's often overlooked.
Okay, what's that?
The importance of social safety nets and retraining programs.
So if someone loses their job because of AI,
exactly,
there needs to be a system in place to help them.
We need to be supporting workers who are displaced by AI.
Right.
And providing them with pathways to new opportunities.
So it's not just about building a tech-savvy workforce.
Right.
It's about ensuring that everyone has the opportunity to benefit from AI's potential.
Absolutely.
And that the benefits are distributed fairly.
That's the key.
Right. Okay, so let's shift gears a bit and get even more granular.
Okay.
Are there specific fields or industries that are going to be particularly impacted by AI?
Yeah.
Either positively or negatively.
The IMF report provides some insights into that as well.
Okay.
Remember that distinction between AI complementarity and displacement?
Yes.
That's a useful lens for looking at which fields are likely to thrive and which might face greater challenges.
Okay, so let's play a game of AI winners and losers.
I like it. Let's do it.
But let's be clear. These are just predictions based on current trends.
Of course. Yeah.
AI is still a relatively young technology, so things could change rapidly.
Absolutely. Things are moving fast.
All right, so let's start with the potential winners.
Okay.
Which fields are looking particularly bright?
Unsurprisingly, anything related to technology is likely to be in high demand.
Oh, okay.
We're talking software engineers, data scientists, AI specialists, cybersecurity experts.
So basically, if you can code, you're golden.
Well, it's a good starting point, but it's not just about technical skills.
Oh, okay.
Even in tech fields, those human skills we keep emphasizing will be crucial for differentiating yourself.
So a tech whiz who can also communicate effectively, solve complex problems, and navigate the human side of things, that's the dream candidate.
That's the ideal. Yeah.
But it's not just about the tech sector itself.
Right.
AI is going to have a ripple effect across pretty much every industry.
Across the board for sure.
Give us some examples.
Okay, so take healthcare.
Okay.
We're already seeing AI used to diagnose diseases.
Oh, wow.
Personalized treatment plans. And even perform surgeries.
So are doctors and nurses just going to be replaced by robots?
Not quite.
Okay.
Their roles will evolve.
I see.
AI might handle routine tasks. But this could free up healthcare professionals to focus on complex cases, patient interaction, and those nuanced ethical decisions that require human judgment.
So it's about augmenting human expertise.
Exactly.
Not replacing it entirely.
That's the key.
Okay, another field with huge potential, I'm guessing, is finance.
You got it.
Okay.
AI is transforming how we invest, manage risk, and detect fraud.
So is Wall Street just going to be run by algorithms?
It's certainly heading in that direction.
But again, those financial professionals who can combine their expertise with an understanding of AI,
Exactly.
data analytics, and ethical considerations, those folks are going to be valuable.
They'll be in high demand for sure.
So it's about adapting to these new tools, integrating them into your existing workflows, not just being replaced by them.
Exactly. And then there are fields like education, transportation, manufacturing, even creative industries.
Wow.
AI is poised to disrupt them all in various ways.
Okay, so every sector is going to feel the AI tremors to some degree.
Pretty much.
But that doesn't mean that everyone should panic and switch careers and become a coder.
Exactly.
We still need artists and teachers and chefs.
All those things that make life worth living.
And all the other professions that make life worth living. Exactly. So it's not just about picking the right industry. It's about developing the right mindset and skills to thrive in this new world.
And that's why the IMF report is so valuable. It's not just about predicting the future. It's about giving us the tools and insights to shape it.
I like that.
Yeah.
This has been a fascinating discussion.
It has.
And honestly, I'm feeling both excited and a little terrified about the future of work.
That makes sense.
In the age of AI.
Those are perfectly valid emotions. And I think the key is to channel that energy into proactive steps. Don't just wait for the AI wave to crash over. You get out there, learn, adapt, and advocate for the future you want to see.
On that note, we're going to move into our final segment. Where we'll tackle a question that's been swirling in my mind since we started this conversation.
Ooh, I like this.
And it's a big one.
Okay, hit me.
It's about the broader societal implications of AI. Whether these technological advancements will ultimately lead us toward a utopia or a dystopia.
That's the million-dollar question.
That is the million-dollar question.
We will find out after the break.
Stay tuned. All right, so we're back. We left off with this big question, right?
Yeah, the big one.
Utopia or dystopia?
Is AI going to lead us to a world where we're all living like, you know, the Jetsons?
Right.
Or is it going to be more like Terminator?
Yeah, like a robot apocalypse?
Yeah. So what do you think?
I think the reality is probably somewhere in between those two extremes. You know, the IMF report doesn't really give us any clear-cut predictions.
It's all pretty speculative at this point.
Exactly. It's early days.
So no easy answers, just a whole lot of uncertainty.
Well, uncertainty isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just means we have a lot of agency.
In shaping.
Yeah, and how this unfolds.
Gotcha. So it's not like a foregone conclusion.
No, not at all. The report emphasizes that AI is a tool. And like any tool can be used for good or for ill.
Okay, so let's ditch the simplistic utopia-dystopia binary. What are some of the more nuanced potential outcomes?
So on the positive side, AI has the potential to solve some of humanity's biggest challenges.
Okay, like what?
We're talking about things like climate change.
Oh, wow.
Poverty, disease.
That would be amazing.
Imagine AI-powered systems that can optimize energy use, develop new medical treatments, or even personalize education for every child on the planet. Now that's a future I can get behind.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But of course, there are potential downsides as well.
Of course there always are.
What are some of the things that keep you up at night?
Yeah, what keeps me up at night?
When you think about AI's impact on society.
One of the biggest concerns is the potential for increased inequality.
We talked about that a bit earlier.
Exactly. And if the benefits of AI accrue primarily to those who already have wealth and power, it could create even bigger gaps.
And more social unrest.
Potentially, yeah. It's a recipe for instability.
And that's not just a problem for developing countries. Even in advanced economies, we're seeing rising inequality.
Absolutely.
And it seems like AI could just pour gasoline on that fire.
It could definitely exacerbate those trends.
Another concern is, of course, the potential for job displacement.
Yeah, that's a big one, and it's a tough one.
Because, yeah, some people say AI will create more jobs.
Some people are optimistic.
But even if that's true, that transition period could be pretty rough.
It's going to be messy.
Especially for certain industries in certain regions.
Absolutely.
Like retraining for a new career is one thing. But what happens when your entire industry is automated?
Yeah, that's a much bigger challenge.
So what can we do about that?
I think it's crucial for governments and policymakers to be proactive.
So we need safety nets for people who lose their jobs.
We need robust social safety nets, accessible retraining programs, and investments in industries where human skills will still be needed.
So it sounds like we need a multi-pronged approach that addresses both the economic and social implications of AI.
Absolutely. We need to be holistic about this.
We can't just focus on the technology itself. We need to think about the human impact.
The human side of it is crucial.
And make sure that the adaptation to this new world is equitable and beneficial for everyone.
It's got to be fair.
Not just for the tech elites.
Exactly. Everyone needs to have a chance to thrive in this new world.
And that brings us back to the importance of AI preparedness.
Yeah, full circle.
The countries that are investing in digital infrastructure, education, strong regulatory frameworks.
Those are the ones that are going to be best positioned to navigate this transition.
All right, so to wrap things up,
this
has been an incredible deep dive into the world of AI.
Fascinating stuff.
And its implications for the future of work and society.
Absolutely.
And it's clear that this is a topic that's going to continue to evolve.
Oh, yeah. This is just the beginning.
And challenge us for many years to come.
It's going to be a wild ride.
But I think the main takeaway is that the future is not predetermined.
That's right. We have a say in this.
It's being shaped right now by the choices we make
every day
and the actions we take.
We all have a role to play.
We have a collective responsibility to ensure that AI is developed and deployed in a way that benefits all of humanity.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So to our listeners, stay informed, stay engaged.
Absolutely.
And stay curious.
Curiosity is key.
About this transformative technology.
The future is what we make it.
The future is not something that happens to us.
Right.
It's something we create.
Well said.
And with a little bit of knowledge, a lot of critical thinking, and a healthy dose of optimism, we can make sure that AI leads us toward a brighter future.
Here's to hoping.
For all, that's a wrap on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring. Keep learning.
Keep learning.
And keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Onwards and upwards.
See you next time.